I wonder if you can cast your minds back to when you finished school. Some of you are longing for that day, and some of you cannot remember it was that far away. But if you can remember, what a feeling that is. And for those of you that haven't finished school, hang on in there, you'll get there. And I guarantee you there will be a feeling like no other. All those years of study that started, I don't know, when you're around 4 years of age, all those different classes, all those different schools, all those different friends, all those different subjects, all that study, all those lessons, all now completed, finished. And life is full of things we finish. We finish jobs. We finish university. We finished our paid work in life as we retire. We finish our time living in a house and we might move from that house. You see all around, don't you, for sale signs and sold signs. It means people are leaving. They've finished their season of living in that house and they're moving to another. I have, throughout the last couple of decades, finished my role in the leading of different churches. And we've then left those churches and those homes that we've lived in. Our season in those places is finished. At the manse, we're going to be having some work done soon, and there will be unavoidable disruption. And even before the work starts, I'm looking forward to the builders saying the words, "Wayne, it is finished." This week has been a blessed week, but a busy week, especially for those in ministry. And I finish work on Sunday evening because I've then got a week off. Don't worry, I will be back after that. All the Easter preparation and services will be finished on Easter Sunday, and I'm not counting down the hours, but I'm guessing it'll be about 8:30 p.m. I can say, I am finished. When we say it is finished in the context that we've just thought about, we mean the activity or the place or the season has finished, not ourselves have finished. As we come to today, we see that this cross that is before us is not It's not the end of Jesus, but the end of his work on earth. When Jesus cries out, "It is finished," it is not a cry of defeat, but a cry of victory. He's not saying, "I'm done in." He's not saying, "I am finished. I have failed. This is over." He's declaring the mission is complete. The work is accomplished. He has done what he set out to do. Jesus' words, "It is finished," are not the end of hope, but rather the fulfillment of hope. In the original language, the word used for finished is tetelestai. The meaning of this word has been debated by scholars with far greater grasp on the original language than me. Some have said that it means a debt is paid, and it used to be written on a receipt to say that what you owed has been paid. But there's debate whether that's right or whether that's wrong. I think it fits quite nicely. I'm going to focus on the meanings that the scholars seem to agree on, and not these ones that cause great debate. But I would say, if you want to claim it as the debt is paid, then claim it. But when Jesus said, tetelestai, it is finished, he meant he has completed his divine mission. Jesus came to this world with one mission in mind: to reconcile us to God. For our relationship with God was broken. Let's illustrate that with a short video that we're going to see.
Behold the Lamb of God.
In Sunday school, we learn that Jesus died on the cross for us and forgave us of our sins. The message was simple. We needed God's forgiveness for all the ways we disobeyed him. But have you ever stopped to ask why? For that answer, you have to travel back to the Garden of Eden and the fall of mankind.
Behold his arms extended wide.
Sin entered the world and brought death with it. And no matter what we want to claim, we all sin. We all fall short. It's an inconvenient truth. And because God is just and holy, sin could not be ignored. It had to be dealt with. So God set up a system in which a priest would take a lamb or goat and sacrifice it. It had to be done over and over, lamb after lamb, year after year. The shedding of blood covered sin, but only temporarily. But according to the Bible, this method of dealing with sin was just a shadow of the things to come. So if that wasn't the real thing, then what was?
And now the mighty deed is done on the cross.
As it turned out, it was God himself. The shadow became the substance. God did not send another sacrifice. He became the sacrifice. So now we come to this day, the moment where the past, with all its guilt and sin, collides with the future, where sin is fully and finally atoned for. The cross was where justice was satisfied, mercy was released, and access to God was restored. The sin that drove us from the garden drove Jesus to the cross. And the Father's will was fulfilled, for us to walk in the cool of the garden with him again. So this Good Friday, don't miss the blood, not because it's gruesome, but because it's mercy. You'll see it all through the Bible. The blood always points to God's ultimate rescue. Behold, the Lamb of God, who takes away the sins of the world.
In eternity that Jesus tasted death for me on the cross.
Some of you remember flannel graph and fuzzy felt, don't you? But maybe you've never seen it quite like that. You see, when Jesus said, "It is finished," he was declaring that everything the Father had given him to do, he had done. The promises spoken through generations for centuries, fulfilled. The law that humanity could not keep, fulfilled. The gap between God and humanity, bridged. And there's something profoundly comforting in this. You see, today is a sad day, and yet we call it Good Friday. We do so because God's plan was not interrupted by suffering. It was accomplished through it. As Jesus cries out in anguish, tetelestai, it is finished. It's easy to think that all was lost. But this cry was a cry of fulfillment. It was a good cry. A few months ago, we met with some friends, and we found out that our friend had recently completed an ultra marathon. We asked her, what was it like as you crossed the finish line? And she said it was a strange yet amazing feeling. For as she said, as you cross the finish line after doing an ultra marathon, you are utterly exhausted and done in. But you're also elated, and you could cry out, "It is finished. I've done what I set out to do." You've completed the task that was set before you at the start of the race. You know there is no more training. No more eating only certain foods. No more worrying about if you'd be able to complete it. No more hoping you wouldn't get an injury in the weeks leading up to it. We asked her if she would do it again, and she, without pause or hesitation, replied, "No." I've finished it. And that means I don't have to do it again. And this is what Jesus cries out in anguish, yes, but also in victory, as he has done what he was sent to do, and Jesus will not have to die on a cross ever again. For us, it means we're free from the burden of sin. Look at the nail you've been given. Hold it in your hand. Feel the weight of it. As you were given the nail, you were given a very quick safety briefing, because that's the world we live in today. Don't maybe put it in your pocket so it'll puncture you as you sit down. Don't stab anybody else with it. Be careful, because the end is pointy and it's a bit sharp. But imagine for a moment how it would hurt if it was driven into your hands and your feet without local anesthetic, without anything to numb the pain. And that's a relatively small, smooth, nicely manufactured nail, isn't it? The nails that were used to hang Jesus on the cross were a bit more rustic than these. A bit bigger. A bit thicker. Lots of jagged, rough edges, maybe. They would have been far more weightier than these. As not only did they have to hold the body of Jesus, they had to hold the weight of the world's sin as well. And that includes yours. That includes yours. That includes yours. And includes mine. But now these nails that held Jesus on the cross hold no weight anymore. For there are no sins that are not forgiven. That is why we watch the film, to show us that Jesus' sacrifice was a once-for-all sacrifice. We no longer need to work to earn forgiveness. It's given to us freely. It costs us nothing, yet it costs Jesus everything. Utterly, utterly, utterly everything. And because of that, the separation between us and God has been removed. Because of what Jesus finished on the cross, God looks upon us and he sees perfection. No, this doesn't mean we're perfect. But Jesus makes up for what's in the gap, if you like. What Jesus finished on the cross makes up for our imperfection. So friends, Jesus isn't finished. But what the cross accomplished is finished. Today looks bleak. It looks like defeat. However, we know that Sunday is coming. And the victory that today has achieved is seen and celebrated on Sunday. So while it is finished, the hope, joy, love, transformation is certainly not finished. So what does "it is finished" mean for us today? These words are not just historical words. They're personal words. "It is finished" speaks into our striving. Friends, you do not have to earn what has already been freely given. It speaks into our guilt. You're not defined by what has already been forgiven. It speaks into our uncertainty. God's work is complete even when life feels unfinished. So today, we stand at the foot of the cross. We do not stand in despair, we stand in awe. Because in his final words, Jesus was not saying, "I am finished." He was saying, "The work is finished." And that changes everything. For because of that, hope of a transformed life is not finished. These nails that sit in our hands represent real things. They represent real struggles and regret. They represent real failure and brokenness. They represent wrong choices made and feelings of guilt and shame. And yet over every one of these nails, Jesus says, "It is finished." Not partially, not almost, not if you do X, Y, and Z, but completely and utterly finished. How good is that? Come on, church. How good is that? That is why today truly is Good Friday. So what do we do with these nails? The worship group are going to come and they're going to sing a song of worship over us. And as they're singing, I want to invite you to come. And as you come, I want you to picture in your mind the regret, the failure, the sin that stops you fully, that has a hold over you. The thing that you keep coming back to. The insecurity, the sense of failure. The feeling of you're just not good enough. Have that in your mind. And as you come forward with your nail, just leave it at the foot of the cross. And as you walk back, know that it is finished. I can't force you to do it. I'm inviting you to do it. You can come down from upstairs. We will keep playing and singing songs of worship until it's finished. If, from a mobility point of view, you're not able to do that, then give your nail to the person next to you. And as you give it, picture what it is that you're leaving at the foot of the cross and allow them to come and put the nail there for you. Everyone is included. No one is excluded. I want you to grasp today, friends, that as you come, the things that hold you back, the things that you think means God can't love you, the failure that you think is just way, way too much, drop the nail and hear Jesus say to you, my daughter, my son, my friend, It is finished. You do not need to carry that anymore and leave it at the foot of the cross.